Monopoly is one of the best games ever. I love it, and the kid in my story does too. In the world's longest Monopoly game, by Peg Carrot, a kid starts a Monopoly game with his dad. It lasts more than 3 years, but then his dad leaves him and his mom. Please enjoy the world's longest Monopoly game by Peg Carrot. When I was 8 years old, my dad taught me how to play Monopoly. Our game lasted more than 3 years. Instead of ending the game when I went bankrupt, Dad made me a loan. He explained how banks made loans and how interest is charged, and we worked it all out on paper. Then I kept playing our borrowed money. We continued the game the next day. Whenever we had time, we played Monopoly, and I did so well with my borrowed money that a few days later, he went bankrupt, and I had to make him a loan. We kept going back and forth, with the first one of us winning and then the other, but we never ended the game. Eventually, our loan papers got pretty complicated, and so we made a big chart. We labeled it the world's longest Monopoly game, and we kept track of all our debts and credits on the chart. Since we always played Monopoly at the kitchen table, we hung the chart on the refrigerator, where we could refer to it easily. My friends used to look at it when they came over. Everyone thought it was neat that my dad and I had the world's longest Monopoly game. It was something no other kid had, and it made me feel special. The divorce happened when I was 11. Dad and I didn't play Monopoly as much that year. He was gone a lot. When he was home, he and Mom argued all the time, and I didn't like to hear it, so I spent most of my time over at Eddie's house. One night when I came home from Eddie's, Dad was gone. 3 weeks later, he moved to Los Angeles. He took a new job and rented a house. I missed him a lot. Everything had happened so fast, and I never understood why. I took the Monopoly chart off the refrigerator, but I didn't throw it away. I rolled it up and stored it in the back of my closet, just in case Dad ever changed his mind and came back home. This may sound crazy, but it was almost like my chart from the world's longest Monopoly game was proof that my dad still loved me, even though he didn't live with me anymore. The next summer, Dad sent money for me to come visit him. I could hardly wait. All I thought about was how great it was going to be to see him again, and how much fun we would have. I had so many things to tell him about school. I packed the Monopoly game on the chart in my suitcase. They took up quite a bit of space, but I knew it would be worth it. I thought we could put the chart in Dad's refrigerator and start the game again, right where we left off. On the way from the airport to his house, Dad told me there was someone he wanted me to meet. Her name was Ellen, and he said he planned to marry her. Ellen had a son, Frankie, who was a year younger than I. Ellen was okay, but Frankie was a nerd. He braked all the time and tried to impress me. What really got me, though, was that he called Dad, Dad. The first time I heard him do it, I wanted to punch him in the mouth. This was my dad, not his. To make it even worse, Dad liked it that Frankie called him Dad. I could tell by the way he smiled and looked at Ellen. When I unpacked my things, I didn't show Dad the Monopoly chart. I left it in my suitcase. I was saving it for a surprise, for a night when Ellen and Frankie weren't with us. The 4 of us went to Disneyland. The 4 of us went to Knott's Farm. The 4 of us took a tour of a movie studio. Everything was fun, but I kept wishing I could spend a day alone with Dad, just the 2 of us. I've been so lonely for him since the divorce. I miss talking to him and watching Monday Night Football together and playing our special games. In his letters, he always said he missed me too. One morning, Dad said we were going to have dinner that night at Ellen's house. Until then, she and Frankie come to Dad's house, or else we met them somewhere. I was kind of curious to see where Ellen and Frankie lived. It was an ordinary house, but it had one thing I didn't expect. I saw it as soon as I went out to the kitchen. It hung on Frankie's refrigerator, a big chart that said, the world's longest Monopoly game. I looked at it for a long time. The loans, the interest rates, the payoffs, all those months when I was home, thinking of Dad and missing him and wishing he'd come back. He was here, playing Monopoly with Frankie. Why do you have to play our game with Frankie? Didn't he know how special it was? I stayed with Dad another week, but I never unpacked my Monopoly chart. I knew that even if Dad and I had time alone to play, it wouldn't be the same. It would never be the same again.